In this new part of the video, we're gonna be talking about potentiometers. And I don't know if you see the size of my fingers, but they are almost of the size of the screen. And it is because these parts are incredibly small. This came out of one of those micro servos right here. And basically, if I wouldn't be making a video, this is the guy that I will be using. And this will be the small gear right here. Okay, due to the fact that whenever these guys mesh, this gear will be mounted on the shaft. Let me put this over here so we can do a better, yeah. The small gear will be the one that will be mounted on the shaft, which means that in order for this guy to move only 90 degrees, since this is like somewhere around maybe 19 to 20 to 1, they will require a full 350 degrees 4 rotations. There will be 4 rotations of the shaft just to move 90 degrees of this guy. Well, you may don't need to turn around 360 degrees 4 times, but that allows you to move very little the axis on your channel, which means that if you move just a little bit, you will be able to turn around and look behind you in your plane. But due to the fact that we are not working in real life, at least not for my purpose, I will not be using this. This is definitely too small for me to be doing videos at full zoom in my camera. I don't have such a good camera, and this is difficult beyond word description. So we're gonna put this guy aside, and most likely we're gonna be using this potentiometer. This one is a little bit bigger. It will be much easier to handle, and I will be using something like this. These 2 gears, and I believe that this is 6.5 to 1. The small one will be in the shaft or the stem that will be holding the camera, and the big one will be mounted on the potentiometer. We will be looking around here where we are going to be finding the gears that we need in order to make this gimbal. I would say that perhaps this one is a good size, and we need a really small gear. I would say that one of these ones. So there you have it. We have 2 gears. Let's put them all here in this piece of styrofoam, and these 2 gears are the ones that we're gonna be using. This one will go on the servo, and this one will be the one that will drive the camera, or the shaft where the camera will sit. Now we will be talking about the procedure in which I will be taking this quarter 20 and I will be chopping the head of this screw. I will be mounting this in the lathe, and I will reduce it in order to mount this gear over here. And I will leave a little tiny stem that will allow me to put this gear in the very end. This gear is the one that is gonna be driving the big gear, and this big gear is gonna be driving the potentiometer. Okay? Continuing with the procedure to assemble this gimbal, I managed to machine this part, and if you look over here, you can see that I drill a hole right through the center of this quarter 20 in order to reduce the maximum amount of weight, bringing this down to next to nothing. Now the shaft will fit in here, and it is a pressure fitting. It is really tight, requires a lot of energy to put it in there. And the next gear will be this one. So in this end we will have a servo that will give us the full rotation, and right here we will have the camera, and in the other end I will make a cheap simple adapter. Probably I'm gonna take 2 pieces of hose or plastic, and I'll just pass this thing through, and that will be the end of it. It will be a simple way to do this job. Okay, at this point I believe that it's more than obvious that I don't have no plans to show how I cut this wood. But it is pretty simple. I only need a hole saw the size, the outside of this guy. I need a piece of wood that is slightly bigger, like a rectangle, and it gets cut in this shape. Okay, I remove this area and this area in order to bring down the weight. Weight is a huge concern in this kind of fabrication, as well as I make a huge washer that goes over this with a small washer in order to extend and give a place to be working as a shaft bearing. I'm probably gonna take a 22 empty cartridge and use 22 use cartridge from a bullet, and I'm gonna use it in order to work as a bearing surface, keeping in mind that the amount of weight and stress that it will be placed in this gear is next to nothing. It will do just fine. Okay, now the bottom mounting place that it will be going somewhere in here, because this is the bottom view, it will be mounted somewhere around here, and you saw the video in the other end where I just literally cut little tiny pieces of wood. I lift it enough and I make sure that it will fit properly, and at that point the gear that was mounted on the potentiometer will just come over here and it will be just right there. Pretty simple procedure, and I probably gonna show the next video in which we will have the cut wood, the mounted parts, and the assembly. This is not a complex build-up, honest to God. It is extremely simple. Perhaps the only part that I don't think that everybody under the sun can have, because I don't expect everybody to have a lathe machine on a machine shop, is this one. And I guess that if people is willing to ask for it, I am willing to make it available. It is a pretty simple, but at the same time it requires to have a halfway decent lathe in order to cut this and make it fit properly. Probably gonna have to put crazy glue in this thing over here. So there you go. See you in the next video.